So, how are you all doing?
Great.
Considering.
Yeah, it's just the most random thing you'd be doing on a Sunday, talking to someone you don't know. That's actually quite a good point because we're all in lockdown. No one's talking to anyone they don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I've just jumped onto your group of friends now. So
one of us.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed your film Neighbourhood. I think it's exactly why we started this festival, because we wanted to give voices to, like a creative outlet to most people. You can stick it on, Instagram or YouTube and that kind of thing. But seeing this was tonally, spot on for what we wanted.
Thanks.
And I think you did a cracking job, Rhiannon, with the editing, and the music was excellent. Who wrote the music for that?
Kit,
That was me, thank you.
Yeah, I like your like a little cameo at the end. Thought, right, I better be in the last shot. Was that what you were thinking?
Well, it's Rhiannon's really the mastermind of like the whole project as a whole, and I think she just sort of asked us to be part of it as opposed to us all going, oh, wouldn't this be a great idea? So it's her idea and it's her collating everything as well. Like,
So how long have you all been friends for? Do you go to the same uni? How did you kind of meet?
School, wasn't it? Well,
yeah,
it's like school, college. Like we all kind of just slowly.
Most of our friends group sort of met when we were like quite young, like 12, and then when we joined college, more of us came together. So it's quite a big friends group.
As I said, uni. So I'm just assuming because I'm older. I'm assuming everyone's older.
yeah.
We're all at uni.
Some of us are at uni now.
But we're cool. Friends from like our hometowns. We didn't meet at university.
So where are you all where are you all from? Are you in the same kind of area or?
Yeah, we all live in Cornwall and all met in Cornwall.
Truro, Falmouth area.
Yeah, it's a lovely part of the country, that, and it's one of those things when you're stuck in your house and you want to go and see your friends. It's like, it's grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's all we really did. Was go to the beach.
Yeah.
That was literally our social life, was the beach, and now sad.
Yeah, and now it's how are you all finding being taught online for courses?
Really hard.
It's odd. Really odd.
Film degree through Zoom calls and emails is just impossible. It's really, really difficult.
I'm lucky in the sense that my degree was at the point where like I didn't need any sort of lectures or anything. It's all sort of self-initiated work, so it's no different other than facilities and not having access to them.
I think mine's much easier as it's more of an academic degree rather than the kind of creative ones. Some of the other.
Yeah, of our film productions were like mid through the process of making, and then we just had to call it quits. So we've got a lot of half-finished films, and this film I actually made as part of my degree, but the entire module had to be negotiated.
Oh wow! So at what point was that negotiated? Before or after lockdown?
Literally about a week before lockdown. So a lot of us had already left Bristol to self-isolate and be with our family before because things had started to look quite bad. So teachers didn't really have a choice but to then close uni. But then all of the opportunities that we had coming for us literally within like March and April had just completely, we just couldn't do them because we couldn't meet with the like industries that we were going to be doing work experience with and things like that. So this entire just been pulled out of thin air basically.
Yeah,
that's why I feel lucky. I feel lucky because my degree is just, it's me reading and then writing and then reading and writing and reading and writing, and so I only have about 2 to 3 contact hours a week anyway when I do get to like have kind of an organized term. And so the fact that I don't, you know, it is hard, but I feel lucky for the sense that I don't have to rely on being with other people like, you know, you would in a film degree.
Yeah.
My only issue is that I relied on my university city to give me my motivation, and now I'm not there.
Yeah, it's really tricky that, because when I was a student, I did film production in Manchester. I was the worst kind of student, like some of us are, you know, like first year going, yes, go drinking. I look like a 10-year-old when I was at uni because I had no beard. I hadn't aged well, you know what I mean? So it was an odd situation. So yeah, you make a really good point that it's some of these courses you do, it translates. It's like, you know, things haven't changed, but have some of you found it quite difficult, this situation?
Yeah.
I have ups and downs quite a lot. Sometimes I think it's nice because I've never actually spent this much time at home. Like normally I'm out of the house pretty much every night of the week seeing friends and things like that, but I've never actually spent this much time with my family, so that's quite nice. But I think, like we said earlier, the fact we live in Cornwall, the only thing to do for us normally, like that feeling of going outside and seeing things and doing things outdoors, and now it's just hard. You have like 1 hour a day to be able to sort of make the most of that, and
it's the only thing for us to do, and we can't do that. So it's just a strange thing for all of us, really.
Would you say that the outdoors in Cornwall's like part of being a student or part of growing up more so than other places like Manchester?
100%. 100%.
It's our life. It is literally our life.
I had this sort of illusion when I was growing up that Cornwall was a really horrible place to live and it was really boring. And then as soon as I think it must have been when I got to be able to drive and be able to take my friends places and we all got to be able to actually experience Cornwall, I think that's what clicked for us. Was no, Cornwall's actually a lovely place to live. You have to be able to go out and actually see it.
It's not every day that you all meet up on a Sunday and go camping, and it's not a worry that your friend's got work on a Monday morning because he can just kayak to work.
That is
not
real. That's amazing.
I've never thought of that before.
Why wasn't the kayaking in the film? Sure, the kayaking.
Unfortunately, he has gone kayaking since being in quarantine as well.
It's
just
not very good at participating sometimes.
Amazing.
He's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah. So I would totally agree with you. I work for a university in Chester most of my time doing tech support, and so if one of you had a problem with your login or something, I would probably speak to you. But before lockdown, I was a photographer and video producer, so I would be a camera operator during a live stream. And the first day I was off because like you guys, you're so used to being surrounded by friends, or in our office environment, you would have people you'd have these micro chats with about your work, about videos, about life in general. But when that's taken away from you, I found it extremely difficult being stuck at home, because being stuck at home is not great. You know, I think when you're much younger, you might think it's great, you know, running around and all that, but this is a new perspective we haven't heard of here, because of our outdoors isn't as great as your guys, you know. we don't have a beach that close.
I feel very lucky. Thankfully I've got my boyfriend staying with me, and he's from Cornwall. But I mean, you've been getting into running loads, and I think both of us really appreciate the fact that we can go on a run and we're running alongside a huge lake, and then we're at the sea.
And I almost feel guilty for it. Because I work, so I'm like enjoying the time off, and I almost feel bad for it because it's so nice down here. And
we're all jealous up here. It's all smokestacks up here.
I'm very jealous as well. I'm still stuck in London. I haven't been able to make it home, and for the first 3 weeks of being in lockdown, all of my flatmates went back respective homes, and I was here completely alone.
So
I tried to get into running, but I did like once and then couldn't walk for 2 days. It's just not as inspiring here either, because you've just got like buildings. There's no sea to look forward to. There's a river, but it's brown and smells awful. So
yeah. So Calvin, can I just ask Calvin a question? Is that your little story was one of our favourite parts, because it hit certain notes, and the fact that you said you're in London, obviously there's an image of London now that it's the worst affected. It probably is in the whole country.
It is, and the worst borough is Southwark, which is where I live.
So were you trying to get home? What was the situation? Did you thought, right, I'll hunker down here, I'll stay here?
I can't go home. My mum moved out recently, so I don't really have anywhere to stay long term. She's living. I was going to go to my girlfriend's in Cardiff. I had a coach booked for the second day after they gave the like order not to go outside.
Yeah.
So I couldn't make it, and I already hadn't seen her in like a month, and our anniversary was coming up. So
well, you got that teriyaki. That looked nice.
That was really good. Mine, you should have seen hers. Hers was way better presented than mine was.
So, Rhiannon, how did you kind of have this idea? Was it something you were thinking about before, or did you have like an inspiration? Because Chris and I, that founded the festival, we were chatting about, let's send things to each other because we're both filmmakers. Why don't we kind of make this a competition? And it was only like just adjusting my light. Sorry. It was only like a week before lockdown that we had this idea. So when was the kind of inspiration? When did you kind of first think of the idea?
Well, our tutors had told us that we could either, for those of us who filmed content before lockdown, continue with the module B, or make a film about or in response to COVID-19. And I didn't have any footage from the module before. It was all planned for during lockdown, basically, ended up happening. To be honest, I wrote down like a million ideas, and then all of them just ended up I couldn't do them. Once we actually got into lockdown, a lot of the ideas involved being outside, and that wasn't an option anymore.
Yeah.
So to be honest, it was only through talking to, I think I was talking to Kit actually about how the film had to be about COVID-19, and I was just so stuck for ideas. And then Kit was like, well, what is everybody else doing in lockdown right now? And then it sort of sparked from there, because my friends, we're all quite good at making the best of a bad situation, and I think we're all quite smart in terms of finding fun in like boring or difficult situations. So I felt like it was a good chance then to sort of like keep everyone connected, and it would help us all sort of see how everybody else is coping and what they're doing to cope. So it just, I don't know, it just seemed like the sort of project that would feel quite personal, but also for people who didn't know my friends, it was just quite insightful into our little lives, basically.
Yeah, I think you did a very good job of connecting everyone. I thought that's the most important thing. If you're going to show several characters, like that's how I see it, characters, you know, you're real. Yeah, I think you did an absolutely fantastic job with that. And you have these little sequences of the half a bagel being thrown in, the skateboarding, learning how to, you know, doing the flip on the skateboard, which looked painful towards the end.
It was.
And then it was just really well put together, and yeah, it makes complete. I think you should get a very good grade for that, if I'm honest.
Thank you.
I really, you know, in the future so basically what we're trying to do at the moment is Chris and I we're receiving these submissions. We've got them from all over the world now. We've got Australia, France, Canada, US.
Wow.
So we've only started small, really small, but we're trying to put as much effort and as much quality online, because there's 2 or 3 different festivals, and you know, some of them, I think like yourselves, are submitted to others as well. But we're trying to kind of amp up the quality, and like doing this, having this forum for filmmakers that have submitted, it's just a nice outlet and to kind of talk about your isolation as well. That's one of the reasons we started it. So yeah, what we're trying to do is figure out a way of not just putting your films online like some of the others have done, like here you go, here you go, here you go, here's all the films. We're trying to figure out a best way to have a showcase. So we'll work that out and have your film there as well. And we're looking for, we're talking to poster designers and graphic artists to design a unique one-off poster. So we're going to have elements. So we're going to probably have, you know, like, have any of you seen Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Have you seen that kind of classic Spielberg poster with all the characters and little bits of things on? Well, we're trying to get an artist to do something like that with elements of every film on. So if we get 100 submissions, it's going to be a busy poster.
One of my friends, Ollie, he submitted his Fly film. I think.
We got that yesterday. Yeah.
That one is really, really special. I think that one's a really good one.
And what he's done is not try to make the Fly. I don't know if you've all seen it, but he doesn't try to make the Fly look completely real. He makes it look unique.
Yeah.
And his shot choice was excellent with that.
Yeah. He always shoots in black and white. I knew it was going to be black and white before he started.
Yeah. Everything looks better in black and white, yeah. So yeah, we're talking. So what we're going to do is everyone that's part of it, including all of you guys, we're going to send out a print of that poster to everyone that's been part of it.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you.
So that might take a little bit of time, but we're going to figure out a video where we show the poster with everyone's kind of little features on. And then we're going to have the names of everyone involved on it. So it's going to be, I don't know how it's going to be worked out, but it will do. And so everyone's going to get a copy of that. Might take a little bit of time, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's such a good idea.
And yeah, we're still looking. So if you know a great graphic artist, we're happy to collaborate with them. But we're looking for.
Tamsin's trying really hard not to nominate herself here.
Tamsin. I do graphic design.
But yeah, you're more than happy if it's something you're happy with. Put it this way, the opportunity is great because we're happy to kind of publish that and promote you, and if you're interested. But there's one of the films is about a dog that's looking after their family. It's like a talking dog.
Aww.
So there's going to be the dog's almost going to be in the center, and everyone else is going to be around it.
Oh, that's such a sorry.
You know, like you can see little. There's so many films. The Australian one was similar to your guys' film, and he's talking about talking about his bad relationship, and I was so surprised, like the variety. It's not the quality; it's the variety of the work, and we absolutely loved yours when we watched it together. So what we're doing every time we receive one, Chris and I have a Zoom chat or a Skype chat or whatever, and we watch it together for the first time. And I think what we'll do is when we put the films up online, we'll have other filmmakers involved watch it and then see their reaction, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you all did a great job with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhiannon.
And I really appreciate you coming on as well.
No problem. That's okay.
It's not like we've got anything else to do, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It gives us something different to do with our day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've created such like a large group of people to do stuff like this, and there must be, like you said, all of your other submissions, just having like way more connections now to us and them to each other, and it's really cool.
It's like a little
cool to be a part of.
So what we can do is saying that's a really good point, is that we could possibly have a meeting with all the filmmakers. I know it'd be difficult, be time zone issue because Canada and Australia and all that, and then people can meet each other on that around about their film. So we'll have a private way for everyone. This is just an idea I've come up with. A private way for everyone that's submitted to see the other films before anyone else. So you get to see those films, and then you hopefully be able to kind of we'll work out a way of getting to meet some of the other filmmakers.
Just do a Zoom chat if you can have up to 3,000 people.
Oh yeah, it'll be chaos. It'll be chaos.
Everyone talking over each other.
This is a time where probably creatives will be disadvantaged when not being able to have those sort of networking events where people then see other people's artwork and so I feel like it will be a time where you do need to develop, whether it's listening to music or watching films or something. Something needs to develop more than just you posting your stuff online, because that doesn't really spread much further than your friends ever.
Absolutely, yeah. We're hoping to have maybe even, depending on if we get the venue, is an event somewhere. That'll be really special. I think that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
So just slightly off topic, what have you all been watching? What would you recommend?
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel. Yeah.
Had to say it.
Yeah.
Midnight Gospel is incredible.
On Netflix. It's a really weird sort of format, but really interesting.
So, Kit, what's...
He runs a podcast in real life, and basically all of the audio from the episodes are whittled down podcast episodes talking about life and death and like everything in between. And then you have Pendleton Ward, who I don't know if you know, but he's the creator of Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he heads the team who animates over all of the podcast audio, and they create these like absolutely insane episodes that talk about existential things, and it's brilliant.
Amazing.
The Midnight Gospel.
Write it down.
Yeah, I'll write that down as well. I've got the recording, so I'll be all right. I watched. I'm doing this little daily thing on my Instagram with little film reviews, and I film and edit them, do the whole thing during lunch because I work pretty much the whole day anyway. So I thought, right, I'll set this challenge. I'll do a review. I'll post it online, and I do one at the weekend, a horror version because I really love horror, especially 80s horror. And last night's was Midsummer. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I haven't.
It's. I tell you what, Kit, if you love music and love making music, you should check that out because the score's fantastic.
I saw Hereditary recently, and the score for that is just amazing.
Oh yeah, it's on the same level. Yeah, it's really grim. If you're on a high and you're really happy, you want to level out, watch Midsummer.
Who wants that?
If I'm getting too happy in isolation, I'll be sure to be like,
it's probably this way. It's brilliant, but you'll only ever watch it once.
Okay.
Depends what kind of mood you're in.
I've been wanting to watch it because I don't know, again, whether it's just the growing up in Cornwall thing, that love of just seeing beautiful nature. And I love kind of the nature that's in Scandinavian countries and Canada and stuff like that. And Midsummer just seems to have a lot of good cinematography of good nature places. That's what I want to watch it. Yeah. I'm not really into horror, so maybe I won't.
So, Rhiannon, can I just ask just a couple of technical things? What do you use to edit, and do you all use iPhones? And how long did it kind of take you to put together?
I use Premiere Pro on my laptop to edit. It crashed about 16 times during the edit, so I was having to. The first time I begun the project, it crashed, so I had to start again because I hadn't saved it yet. And then after that, I kind of learned I was constantly saving a new version of it, like every 2 minutes. As soon as I'd add another clip in, I'd save it, because it just kept crashing. So the editing process was really painful, mainly because I was set up a Dougal Gog, yeah.
Dougal Gogs.
Google Docs folder for them to all put their films in, and then I was downloading them from there onto my laptop. That in itself took so long just because my laptop is just so rubbish. And so I wasn't used to that. I'm used to a long editing process, but that was quite painful because I didn't have anything that I was used to having access to. Everybody filmed on their phones. I literally, my brief for it was literally just film the strange things that you're doing to keep yourself entertained during lockdown, whatever it is, just film it for like 30 seconds. And if you want to talk, you can talk and explain what you're doing, but you don't have to. I just asked for it to be landscape. So everyone just used their phones. It's all phone footage. And yeah.
So who was on the building site?
Oh, he's not here. That's my friend Tom. He was having to still work doing like road construction during lockdown, so he still had to get up at 5 o'clock. His days were exactly the same as they were before, except the roads were a bit more clear and he wasn't annoying as many people.
I bet he thought when he set his camera up, because you see him, I like how you didn't kind of get rid of that shot of him putting the camera down, and then he went back to the the truck. I bet he loved that shot. I was like, yeah, this will look really cool now.
That whole sequence, that was probably about 3 seconds of a minute clip you sent of him just driving in a circle. He was just doing figures of 8 in this digger, because at the time they're just not all of them were there and they couldn't be near each other. So the work that they were having to do was just slow and it wasn't really going anywhere. I think now he had like 2 or 3 weeks off, but he's going back to work again next week.
Right.
But yeah, he was still like doing work as normal, so he was just walking around.
So how much did you have kind of quite a lot of footage to kind of cut through? Because I know Felix was throwing quite a few bagels into his toaster.
Felix was first to send footage in. And honestly, I was so happy once he sent that in. I was like, okay, guys, it can be as simple as that. Like, I'm not asking for you to be massively creative with the stuff you're doing in your day. I just want you to film whatever it is that you're doing to keep sane. Felix's one was a long video of him just chucking these bagels into this toaster. But to be honest, we had a lot of footage. Everything I included was such a small snippet. The film would have been like 20 minutes long if I kept it all. I had to try and cut it to 3.
Do you think do you think with the footage you've got that this is the best of it, or do you think there is a 20-minute solid film in there?
I think that was probably the best I could do with it. I think I tried to watch through everything and make sure that I was picking the parts that would bring people most joy. So like things like with Tamsin doing her baking, or she was baking and she's trying to show us what she's baking and then it falls out of the pot. Just little things like that where everyone's just trying to do stuff as normal, but it's not normal. And just the little funny things, because I didn't want to edit out and make something like really perfect. And I feel like our generation, especially, everything that goes online is so thought through and thought out, and everybody's sort of not lying but manipulating the truth of their lives. And I think for this film I just wanted it to be truthful to what everybody was doing and the mistakes they were making whilst they were figuring things out.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad you made it, Rhiannon, because like when I was recording my bits, I have like dopey eyes and my mouth isn't straight, and I like someone can say I did mine like 3 times, and every single time it would just say something stupid, and I'd be like, no, it's got to be perfect. And then like the bit that was used was when he's just like, I'm wearing shorts. So, like, it was the bit that actually brought joy and was perfect in the film anyway, not the bit where I was like trying to get like
personalities in it, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt very much. It felt very much like I don't know if you know John Hughes, like Breakfast Club. Have you seen Breakfast Club?
Oh
yeah.
It kind of there's definitely a sense of that, especially with Kit's music. I think that's why it works so well. I think without, and if you didn't have, this is just me because I try and make stuff outside of work as well. Without that kind of emotional element of I can't remember the chap's name with his missus on the internet having a meal.
Yeah, Calvin.
Sorry, Calvin.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was a really good point. I think the honesty and everything you're talking about is really on point because it's what I call curated lives, where people just create this fictitious version of themselves online. And I think the honesty came out really, really well in this film.
Yeah, I didn't want to iron any of that out because that was my reasoning to make the film. I didn't want anything to be sort of constructed. That's why I kept the brief so simple, because I didn't want them to be overthinking anything. I just wanted it to be like, oh, this is what I'm doing, I'll just film it for Rhiannon quickly. And obviously we didn't know at the time that it was going to go beyond uni either. So I think that probably helped with the honesty of people's videos.
Yeah, it's a big plus that. I think you're going to get I think you'll get a lot more honesty with some of this content, especially with kind of creative outlets, because we're all sick of we like some celebrities that we like the personalities, but some are just like ridiculous with how fake they are. And I think the honesty of this is why it kind of works so well. And when you see, I'd say pretty much all of the other submissions, there's an element of the reality in it is really strong, even with the talking dog. Is because you could see the love for their dog, and it's kind of reciprocated as well. So I think you'll see that across the board when you see the other films. I think we'll end it there, and I really do appreciate you all coming on.
That's okay.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great job with the music, great job with the editing, and all around all the content. I think everything worked. I don't think there was a moment in it where I thought, because we all think when we watch a film, oh yeah, they could have taken out 20 minutes or something. But in that, I think everything made sense, and you did a really good job with the film overall.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And Tamsin, if you wanna design the poster for the festival, that'll be incredible, and that'll be like because we're looking to do a press release with the Guardian soon as well. But that might not happen. But we've got connections at work, so we're trying to make that happen. And
I have some connections with the Guardian if you need.
If just for a promotion, we're trying to kind of push this, and that this interview, when other people see it, when other students see it, there's going to be a lot of students that don't have a strong group of friends like yours. So it'll be kind of a little bit of support for them. So we'll kind of advertise this podcast and then send it out. It is on iTunes now as well. So
oh my day.
Yeah. So you've all done a cracking job, and I was going to say enjoy the rest of your isolation, but that'd be the wrong thing to say.
We'll do our best.
We'll try.
You're going to run into the sea together, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's like
the moment after this is over is going to be amazing.
Send it to you the moment we all get to go to the beach again.
Well, we'll feature some sort of mini documentary about what we're doing. So if you did something like that, that's great. We'd feature that definitely.
We will have a special place that we're excited to go back to, and it's perfect. It's on a river. It's a camping place, and we can all dive in at the same time.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, all have a good day anyway.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you all later. See you now.
Bye.
Bye.